I am so excited. Hi there, my name is Deidre. I'm a content creator based out of Michigan. On my channel, you're going to find information about natural hair and mom life. Today we're talking about pumping, okay? So when I was pregnant with Gabby in 2020, I knew nothing about mom stuff. Honestly, I had no friends that were really moms. Well, I had a few that were moms, but we were all pregnant at the same time, actually. Like most people, what did I do? I went to YouTube, and we were in the pandemic. We had just, COVID had just started. COVID started in March and I was due in April. So it was a lot of YouTube university, okay? And one thing I looked up a lot was breast pumps. I knew nothing about breast pumps. So I was looking up countless reviews. I spent hours looking at YouTube on different reviews. I knew that when I started breastfeeding and I started pumping, I wanted to contribute to YouTube University as well, just in case there's any new moms out there that are looking for breast pumps or newborn essentials. So we're gonna start this series called Pump Wars. I'm really excited for this. I'm basically going to be talking about different breast pumps. I'm going to be talking about the ones that I've tried, I like them, I dislike them, a whole breakdown from how much it costs, what I recommend it, okay? So if you're into that, make sure you subscribe so you can get the next pump video that comes out. The first one we're going to talk about is the Willow. I actually used the Willow with my daughter when I was breastfeeding from 2020 to 2021, and I'm using it again with my son. No, it's not the same pump. I did try to use the same pump at the beginning of my pumping journey with my son, but quickly I noticed I had to just buy another one. So let's talk about the Willow Gen 3, okay? That's what we got right here, this bad boy. Let's talk about what comes in the box, all right? So what's included in the box are 2 pumps, 2 flanges, 2 flex tubes, 24 4-ounce milk bags, 2 cleaning brushes, and 1 charger. How much does it cost? It costs $4.99 from the Willow website. It does have FSA and HSA options. It also has a firm as well. So you can go to one of the breast pump insurance companies like Aeroflow, One Natural Way, the Breastfeeding Shop, and anywhere else where you can find a breast pump with insurance and see if the Willow is covered. Usually it's an upgrade option. You wouldn't have to pay the $4.99 off the jump. You might have to pay like $3.50 or something like I had to do with Aeroflow, but it just depends on where you go and your insurance. So one thing I wanted to mention about insurance is that on the Willow website, they actually have something called an insurance verifier. So where you can type in your information and your insurance, you can know if your insurance covers some part of the Willow, all of it, none of it. It's a whole lot easier that way. Okay, so let's talk about how often you should replace the parts. The Willow website recommends that you replace your parts every 3 months, and I can definitely agree, and I have noticed a difference if I don't replace my parts, specifically my flex tubes, within that 3 months time period. I don't always replace the container or the flanges every 3 months, but definitely the flex tubes. One little tip is I note in my calendar when I start using that flex tube, and that way I can schedule a reminder 3 months later to order another set so I can already have it. So we're going to talk about the 2 ways you can pump with Willow Pump. You can pump into the reusable containers, or you can pump into the bags. If you're pumping into the bags, the pump is 100% spill proof. You can go upside down with it. The containers are not spill proof. If you tip vertical, if your container is all the way full, you are going to spill some milk. Alright, you're gonna notice a little spot on my shirt. Had to take care of my son. When it comes to cleaning and sterilizing the parts, it's pretty simple. If you're using the containers, you have the flange, the container itself, and the flex tube. If you're using the bag, all you have is the flex tube and the flange. That's it. I'll insert a little clip here of me washing the parts and how long it takes. right, so now let's assemble the pump. I'm going to assemble one with the container and one with the bag. So when it comes to the containers, you have this part, which is the container, and this stopper. You have the flange that goes into the container. Little dial you turn to lock it in place. And you have the flex tube that goes right on top. And then it goes into the pump like that. And that is all of it. Now let's assemble the bag. If you have the flange for the bag, this is what you'll have. You'll have the flange right here. You'll have the flex tube that clips in place. And you put the bag on top. It will tell you which side that goes up. And you put it right inside. Like this. And that's all that goes with the bags. And it goes inside of the pump like that. Okay, so I'm gonna put it on now, and I'm gonna put one side with the bag and one side with the container. Okay, so I have the pump on. This side is the bag. This side is the bag. And of course the bag side is smaller because it's just less room. And this is the container side. I do look a little more busty with the container side than the bag side. So here's the bag side. Here is the container side. One thing I forgot to mention is that on the Willow pump, there is a right and a left. So it tells you which pump to put on which breast, and it'll show up in the app as well. Okay, so let's talk about the battery life of the pump. Since it comes with one charger, you have to charge your pumps at 2 different times, or you have to buy another charger. According to the Willow manual, after your Willow pumps are fully charged, they will last for 5 pumping sessions. For me, I noticed that if I charge my pumps, I can go all day, which is pumping 3 to 2 times, and then during the second day, I usually have to charge my pumps after my lunchtime pump, which is usually 5 to 6 pumps for me. Okay, so let's talk more about the pump. The pump has 2 phases. It has stimulation and expression mode. So in the stimulation, it's like sucking your nipple in and trying to get the milk to flow. And the expression mode is when the milk is flowing. One thing that's to note about the Willow pump is that it's a continuous suction. So once it sucks your nipple in, it keeps it in. It doesn't release it, it's just like. When it comes to warranty, you have 1 year of warranty for the Willow pump, no matter where you buy it at, and you have a 90-day warranty for the parts after you buy them as well. Since I'm assembling the pump and I'm going to the pump, we're also going to talk about the app, okay? So the app you can download onto your phone. It connects to the... I'm always dropping shit. So you can download the app. The pumps connect to your phone via Bluetooth. So when I first started pumping with Willow Pump, you could not control the pump from your app. Now you can. That was a new update that just came out. So I'm going to actually put my pumps on, and I'm going to show you a screenshot or like a screen recording of what the app is doing while I'm pumping. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention about sizing, but on the Willow website they have information about sizing, so you can find the appropriate size when you're pumping. You never want to pump with the wrong flange size, and it should not be painful when you're pumping. It might be a little uncomfortable, but it shouldn't be painful. Another little pro pumping tip, if the Willow is uncomfortable or any pump is uncomfortable, you have some lanolin or some pumping cream. You can put it on your nipples and the flange before you start pumping. Okay, so I have my pumps on, and now I'm going to be really quiet so you can hear stimulation mode to expression mode. So let's listen. So right now it just sucked my nipple in, and it is going into stimulation mode. Okay, now both pumps are in expression mode. Just gonna keep talking so you can see the loudness of the pumps. So if you're, some people are wondering about how discreet and quiet it is. If you're in a loud room, or you're going to a concert, or you're in a classroom and someone's talking and there's music playing, you probably wouldn't hear the pump. I'm not sure how much you can hear it now. I don't even know how much I'll be able to hear it once I play back the footage. But it just depends on where you are. If you're in a library, on the other hand, you're probably going to be able to hear the pump. But I got my old Willow pump, and I wanted to show you how people recommend you put the pump on. So there are a few ways that people recommend putting the pump on. The first way is to put the flange on your boob, align your nipple correctly, and then put the pump on. Turn the pump on, and you can hold the pump against your boob so it can latch onto your breast. Another way that people do it is they put the flange into the pump already. They attempt to align their nipple, and then they hold the pump onto their boob, start the pump, and then hit play. I'm gonna have like a screen, so I'm gonna have the app rolling right here so you can see it as I'm scrolling it. So right now it says I have 2 ounces on my right, 2 ounces on my left, and I'm able to control the expression from the app as well. I can pause a pump from the app, and I can increase my expression if I want to. For the app, it also has history where you can see how much you've been pumping. It has a store where you can actually purchase some parts from. Looking at the app, I actually have a picture of my son in the background, because for the Willow app, you're able to customize the background. I can also control the expression. It looks like I can go up to 7, but I'm not gonna do that because ow. So I'm going to keep it on 3. So for the Willow app, it actually will spend 2 minutes, or I think 90 seconds in stimulation mode, and then it's going to switch to expression mode. So it's actually going to switch from 2 to 3 by itself. So let's also talk about the fact that the app will tell you once it's full. It says I got 4.3 ounces in my right, and it tells me that it is full. You can actually keep the Willow pump on when it says it's full, and it kind of works like a haka. It will just continue to draw out milk. But it's going to stop at like 5 ounces, and you don't want to really go over that, because then it's definitely going to spill out if you were to lean over. Okay, so when it comes to troubleshooting and errors with the pump, there are a lot of times the errors will pop up on the screen on the app. It'll tell you to make sure it's aligned right, make sure Willow is firmly pressed onto your breast. It might say to flush out the container. It might say the flex tube isn't aligned properly. The app will usually tell you if something goes wrong with the pumping. So before you do anything with the pump, you have to lean forward and take it out. There's this little dial right here that has to be on 1 when you pump, but when you're done pumping, you have to switch it to 2 when you're using the container. There's something called flip to finish that you have to do with the Willow pump, and if you don't do it correctly, you will spill everywhere. So make sure your dial is on 2 and turn the pump around to face you. Because I don't know, I'm going to take this out so you can see it. So you see all this milk in the flex tube. You can either pour this into a container by squeezing this part, or you can do something called the flip to finish and get this milk out of the container, out of the flex tube into the container. So to do that, you will turn the pump while it is to you, turn the little label part to you, and make sure you see this 2. Make sure the 2 is all the way, not any part of the 1 is sticking out. So the 2 is there, the stopper is pushed in all the way, and you click the play button, and you'll hear it suction the milk from the flex tube into the container. Once there's no more milk in the flange, you flip the pump all the way over. And I know it can be scary to flip it over because you think it might spill. That's why you have to have this 2 showing. This number 2 has to be showing. So now let's look at the container. See, all that milk is now in the container. Oh, see? Jeez. Not good. And it's really simple to pour. You squeeze the flex tube. I'm going to flip the dial back to 1, pull the stopper up, and pour in. Let me know if you want a different video on flip to finish with a lot more detail on how to do it successfully, because it took me a few times. So while I'm pumping, let's talk about our pros and cons, okay? Because this is really the important part, all right? So first pro is that the Willow is literally cordless and hands-free. You can do anything you need to do, whether it's laundry, driving, going to a baseball game, a football game, A potluck. If you're using the bags, it's 100% spill proof. No milk is coming out unless you do flip to finish wrong. If you use the container, if you were to dip over all the way, you might lose some milk. Not a lot, but you might lose some. Or if the stopper on the top of the container isn't all the way down fully, you might lose some milk there as well. Again, it's not a lot, but you will lose some. Another pro about the Willow Pump, it's really easy to clean. Looking back at my little quick wash day, that's how you know I've been doing hair too long. Looking back at how quickly it was to wash the pump parts, it didn't take that long. The Willow Pumps, whether you're using the bag or the container, it doesn't come with a lot of parts, so it's really quick to wash. It's not fun to wash because nobody likes washing dishes, and if you do, come to my house because I got a job for you. And usually if you're pumping, you have bottles sometimes and you have other things to wash, and nobody wants to spend all day washing something. Third pro is the options that comes with pumping. I like that I can go completely spill proof with the bags if I'm out and about and I don't want to pour any milk. And I also like that I can use a reusable container and I don't have to keep continuously using bags. So another pro is that the Willow Pump charges pretty fast. When you get down to the red light on the Willow Pump, it's going to tell you to charge Willow Pump immediately or as soon as you can. I even found if that red light comes on, I can still get through that pumping session. And if you are able to buy 2 chargers, it just cuts the time in half. Another pro about the Willow Pump is how easy it is to transfer milk from the containers into the bag. As you saw when I was pouring the milk, it was pretty easy. Okay, I'm still pumping. We're at the 20-minute mark. So let's talk about our cons, all right? Let's talk about the negatives of the Willow Pump because I got a lot of positives, but I also got some negatives. The first one is the price. Y'all, this pump is expensive. I just don't mean the price right off the bat. The first initial investment is $499, essentially $500. But it's not just the $500 you're paying. If you want to continuously buy bags, which is about $1 per bag, and you only get 24 originally, which is not a lot. As of, what's today's date? April 3rd, 2022. Making this video, right now the flex tubes are $30, I believe. The container is $50. Another charger might be $30. Bags might be $30. So from what I'm saying, these numbers add up quickly, right? It's not just $500. It might be $500 originally, and then it's another $100 in parts or $90 in parts or something. Not everybody can pay that money. I did not want to pay that money. I had to save up that money to buy my Willow Pump the first time. The second con is the learning curve. I would not recommend starting off with the Willow at the beginning of your pumping journey. I would recommend a Spectra, Medela, something that's easy to use and you're able to really learn your body. Your supply is regulated. You know how much you usually make during a pumping session. No matter the variables like how much you've been eating, how much you've been drinking, your rest or whatever, know how much you pump before using the Willow, then try it because it is a steep learning curve, my friend. Like from the flip to finish, aligning your nipple correctly, pressing it on firmly, the dials for the containers, like it's a lot to learn and it's not always the easiest at the very beginning. If you're using the pump incorrectly and you're not producing the same amount of milk as you normally produce, over time that could decrease your supply. Nobody wants to have a decreased supply. That is really stressful. Another negative about the Willow Pump, it goes back to the app. So it's really cool that you can see how much you're pumping while you're pumping, but you can't change the app at all. I think I've noticed in my history is that sometimes it's not correct. Like this 14 ounces on Friday, there's no way I didn't have 4.2 ounces in my left side. I think I had about 3 because I wrote it down. But I can't change this. There's no way I can go back and change these numbers in the app. So it just makes me feel a lot more milky than I really am, okay? Now that I'm pumping, actually, let's talk about a negative about this. So it looks like my left side only got 2 ounces. But according to this app, it says it got 4 ounces. So yeah, 2 ounce difference. And that could make a big difference to some people. To me, so it just really depends on the app and if you have the container aligned properly or if it's sucking in air or not. Would I recommend it? Yes, I would recommend the Willow Pump if you can afford it. If you're someone who works in an unsanitary setting, like if you feel something is not safe for your breast milk and you want to pump into bags, I really like that the Willow Pump has that capability. I enjoy the fact that it's usually spill proof. If you do the flip to finish right, you don't have to spill any milk. If you are moving about, it usually doesn't spill for me either. So all in all, even with the cons, I would recommend the Willow Pump if you can afford it. If you can't and you don't feel comfortable spending that much money, don't. Do not put yourself in a situation that is going to hinder you or hurt you even more for the Willow Pump. There are other options out there that you can try to look into, but don't break the bank if you can. I think that's it. Let me know if I missed anything in the comments below. What pump are you using, if you're using one right now, or are you a new mom? Was this helpful? Let me know. We can talk about it in the comments. Let me know what you think about my first breast pump review. I'm a little nervous, and this definitely was not easy to film, but I'm sure it will get easier. Send me a DM on Instagram. Let me know what you thought, all right? I'll talk to you later. Bye.